All right, let's talk about something that's on pretty much everyone's mind. We all have this one huge financial question that's kind of just humming in the back of our heads. It's the thing that really shapes our big life decisions, our day-to-day spending, and honestly, a lot of our stress.
Yep, that's the one. Will I have enough? It sounds so simple, right? But getting a clear, honest to goodness answer can feel next to impossible. It is the ultimate financial question, and for way too many of us, it just hangs out there, totally unanswered. And that one big question, it's not just about retirement decades from now. It sneaks into all the big decisions we face. When can I actually stop working? Can I afford to take a job I love even if it pays less? Is buying that vacation home a dream come true or a financial nightmare? It all boils down to that nagging feeling. Am I doing okay or am I falling behind?
For the longest time, the tools we've had to answer these questions have been, well, let's just say they haven't been great. So it's time to move past all that uncertainty. It's time to find a better way to get a real answer. Let's be real, the old way is just a total mess, right? You're either wrestling with these monster spreadsheets, paying a fortune for a financial advisor, or using some generic online calculator that spits out a wild guess. The new way promises something different, a clear answer, for everyone, and based on your actual life.
And this is what I find kind of cool. The tool we're digging into, FinP4l, it wasn't cooked up in some stuffy corporate lab. It was literally built by people who are facing these exact same problems. They got fed up with the spreadsheets and just wanted a straight answer, so they built the solution themselves.
Okay, so how does it actually give you that straight answer? How can you literally see what your financial future looks like? Well, the whole process is way easier than you'd think. Let's walk through it.
It's really just three simple steps. First, you connect your accounts, or if you prefer, you can just type in your numbers. Second, and this is the amazing part, you instantly get your financial independence age. That's the exact age you can afford to stop working. And third, you get to play. You can test out different scenarios and see the 30-year impact of any decision you can think of. And this is what you get. Look at that. No more spreadsheet nightmares. You get one single, clear, interactive chart that projects everything, your income, your assets, your net worth, decades into the future. You can actually see it all laid out right in front of you. But seeing your baseline future, that's just step one. The real magic, the absolute game changer, is when you start asking, what if? This is where the tool goes from being a cool calculator to being a genuine planning partner.
With just a click, you can model all kinds of life events and see what they do to your timeline. We're talking over 40 different pre-built scenarios, covering everything from making a big career change to, what happens if the market takes a nosedive. And these aren't some abstract scenarios. They're the real-life questions we all wrestle with. What if I start a business? What's the real cost of having kids and paying for college? How does buying a house change my retirement date? You can even model things like a market crash or figure out the best time to take Social Security. Now, this is a really important point. It's how the tool does this. Instead of giving you that confusing probability fog, like saying you have an 80% chance of success, it uses something called deterministic modeling. That's a fancy way of saying you can ask a very specific question, like, what if the market crashes in year 3, and get a specific, concrete answer. It gives you conviction, not confusion. And here's a perfect example of what that looks like. On the left, that's your starting point, your baseline future. Now, what if you're thinking, I'd love to retire 3 years earlier? You click one button, and bam. On the right, you see the immediate, long-term impact on your entire plan. It's that simple. This is how you make big decisions with confidence.
So, getting that date is huge, but we all know a real financial plan is more than just a single number, right? There are a lot of other pieces to the puzzle, and that's why this is so much more than a simple calculator.
To make sure you're not missing anything, for example, there's a built-in retirement checklist. Think of it as your personal guide that tracks all the important stuff you need to do and tells you when to do it, so nothing important slips through the cracks.
It even helps you with your investments. It uses something called a bucket strategy, which is just a really smart way to see if your money is in the right places for where you are in life. It helps you see if your mix of stocks and bonds makes sense for your timeline. And it doesn't just stop at retirement. It helps you think about the really long-term stuff, too, like estate planning. It can give you a clear idea of potential costs and taxes down the line, so you get the full picture. And you know that question we all secretly ask ourselves? Am I on track? How am I doing compared to everyone else? Well, yeah, there's a feature for that too. You can anonymously compare your own numbers to your peers and finally get a real sense of where you stand.
So all of these features are built to give you clarity and, most importantly, confidence. But whenever you're talking about your finances online, there are two huge questions you absolutely have to ask. First up, privacy. And their answer here is non-negotiable. Your financial data never leaves your computer. It all stays in your browser's local storage. It never, ever touches their servers. You have total control. Full stop. All right, so the next question is always, okay, what's the catch? How much is this going to cost me? And the answer is zero, nothing. It is completely free. No ads, no premium upsells, no selling your data. It's run as a public benefit. So when you put it all together, the promise is pretty straightforward. You get all your stuff in one spot. It's 100% private and anonymous. You get instant answers to your biggest questions, and it is completely, totally free. So that really just leaves one last question, and this one's for you. If you could just wipe away the financial anxiety and the messy spreadsheets, what would you do? What choices would you make if you could actually plan your life, your career, and your future with complete confidence?